Welcome to Sports Talk with Kefuwe, and I'm your host, Kefuwe Njabulo Mahlangu. And this right here is the interview section of Sports Talk with Kefuwe, where we get to speak with some of the best in the country. We get to speak to legends, current players, and I'm joined by a special guest who is Mayambela. He's won double treble. That's very hard to do. You don't get too many people winning that, and he was a very integral part of that season. So welcome, Mr. Mayambela. Unjani?
I'm good out here. I'm Unjai.
Great. Guys, if you don't get this, I'm gonna cut it anyway, that part. So yeah. There's a lot of noise around in the background. So yeah.
Don't stress.
Mr. Mayambela, how was it growing up eKhaya, as you've said, and how was your upbringing, and how was your upbringing, and how was it ukhulele eKhaya? How was the environment there?
Well, Khayelitsha is a typical township, one of the biggest townships in South Africa, the biggest in Cape Town. It's like any other township boy, Nkulele Corner, playing football, estradeni, and playing with friends. And at that time we didn't play for anything, and also our academies were a little bit far from where we stayed. It was difficult for us also to join our academies back then, because we give it a taxi or take a train, so it was also not safe for us. I remember the first time I went for trials, we went for trials for the Hellenic, we take a bus, but also it was financially strenuous because at home we didn't have money, to pay the bus fare every day for me to go to training. So it was also a little bit difficult. But again, like any other township boy, we were schooling at Bola. The only thing that we knew was football. The only thing that we were interested in was football. We played it Stratton, we played it in the fields, where you would leave home in the morning and come back late, umbunga and ungakezanga and all of that, because we didn't have showers. So, but that's the only thing that we loved, and we loved doing, and that's the only thing that maybe helped us to get away from a lot of social ills. You know what I mean?
I really understand you. So you grew up in Khayelitsha. It was very dangerous. So when do you start academy or playing for academies, or when does it start? Because a lot of people would say, obviously you start playing for fun, and then now it starts getting a bit serious. That academy, start, those things. Now you start playing club. Obviously, you start playing club football, ekasi in the township firstly, and then you kind of move on to academy. So how does all of that? What team did you play for, ekasi, and how did it go about for you to get academy?
Ekasi, I'm from a C-section, so we had our own club that is called First Level. It's still in existence, the First Level. So we played Lapo with my friends and people that I grew up with. And then until such time when, if you remember, when they first bought Ajax, when Ajax first came, they bought Seven Stars and Cape Town Spurs, and they merged. And then out of that came out Ajax Cape Town, but there was another team that came also in Mother City. So they were played to PSL, and then they got relegated to NFD, and until they went to ABC also. So they had the academy or a development. So in 2002, that's when I started playing for under 15 in Mother City. It was more structured than Elokshini, our training sessions, tracksuit, Adidas, boots. So that was my first more structured football that we are involved in, like as a development. And I think also I learned a lot from that, from that moment. As much as, Upumelo Kshin and Kaslako, they know you could tell Mark can play football, left foot, now you go into a place whereby now it's good players from Kugule, good players from Philippe, good players from other township, and Nabase Micha's playing as well. So now the standard and the level now automatically see cooler, Ngomanje so Nabandu that are more talented. So that's when I started playing with more structured football. And then from there, I went to Old Mutual Academy, where he's from the Celtics here and Scout Akon. And then Bang invited for a 2-week trial to Bloemfontein. That time, Coach Cabozon was the coach. And then he signed me back in 2007.
Oh, yeah, okay. How was it like getting your first pair of boots? I mean, like getting, how was Impilase Academy, like getting your amatric suit and getting boots regularly is what I assume, what academies do. They give you guys on a regular basis. How did that feel? Because now, endlini, they didn't have to uktwala that bed in Yoguti, umak mele atole ama to get new boots on a regular basis, because sometimes even Ekasi play on sand, on a sand pitch sometimes.
Yeah.
Before you went to Bloemfontein Celtics, it says, when I did a bit of research, you started with Old Mutual. So how did you get picked for Old Mutual team development corner before you went to Celtics?
Now, of course, Mama, when you join in academy of bar, they give you a matrix suit, they give you techies, they give you soccer boots, and as you have just mentioned, it takes dependent of about my parents' suit, and it was a good feeling also because it's something that I could wear even when I go to school, because I was still in high school. So instead of wearing my uniform, I'll wear my old my Mother City tracksuit, you know what I mean? And people knew me from there with the Umak Lo. So it was a nice feeling that because Abantu only knew you for his right, which was the football, you know what I mean? And for me not to join in the Old Mutual Academy, there's a guy called Sipo Joyce. Sipo Joyce scouted me or saw me play a local tournament in Stellenbosch, and then he was friends with Roger Links, which was the academy coach at the time. So he told Roger about me, and then I went, I trained with the club, and then I eventually signed. So that's how I joined the Old Mutual Academy.
Okay, so yeah, from Old Mutual, you go to Bloemfontein Celtics. So how does that transition lay in Zagal? Who, I'm sure you said someone picked you from Bloemfontein Celtics. They saw where did that match happen, or where did they see in a training session or wherever where you played and it happened. But first and foremost, I'm forgetting something. In one of your interviews, you said Uguti, you lost both of your brothers. One of them you lost them, and one of them was in jail. So can you tell us a bit, Uguti, Begunjani, with one being in prison, did you visit him regularly, and what did he go in for? And what was the cause of it? Was it because let's say you might come home, because we know amakasa awekho safe, especially ebusuku, someone might do something go.
Of course, because especially in Cape Town, there's a lot of gangsterism. So there was a fight between two of our sections of Sekailucha. And unfortunately, within that fight, my brother was also involved. So this one Saturday, while I was partying with friends, and then the other guys came, and then Njabulo from there. So that's how he passed away. And also my other brother, he did law at school, and also with Tolum Series, and you get frustrated, and manje family have invested a lot kuye, and manje the pressure for him to provide, the pressure for him with a Tolispan and all of that. And in those days, it was very difficult for him to Tolum Series, and also sometimes when Magaya Hamba to my interviews, they will tell him, or when he applies for Umsebenzi, he's overqualified for certain posts. So it was really difficult and frustrating for him. And then he started to do his that will quickly have Imali. And unfortunately, they got arrested, and then he was in prison, and then he was sentenced to 10 years. But he got sick like quick, man. It was something that was quick, got sick, and then he was taken to hospital, and then he never made it. So that's how I lost both my brothers through difficulties of Kulelo Lokshini, and difficulties of trying to make a living and trying to change your family's well-being and your family's life, you know what I mean? So also it's a big part of Ilogishi, and akekho umuntu that wants to go to bed hungry. So abantu ke will try one thing or another to satisfy that. So it's something that is also ongoing manje. But we were fortunate that we played football, and football took us away from such things, you know, as much as most were happening in front of you and even inside your household, you know, but, you know, thanks to God and, you know, football, that we managed we play football, Tina, and we actually made a living out of football.
And when he says Tina, it's us, and that's him and his younger brother now. He's playing in Israel right now.
In Portugal.
Mihlali.
In Portugal.
Yeah, Angesha he was loaned out to Israel.
Yeah, he went back to Portugal now.
Oh, the season is over. Oh, he just went back. Hey.
Preseason, yeah, it's preseason.
Also, you see football, and whilst you're talking, whilst you said that, and it's very true, especially for South African youth. The youth unemployment is at an all-time high, and that story, hey, that would touch home for some people, because let's say you go home, your 12th degree, and you sometimes it's your hope, because that's what they tell us. It's our hope.
Sure.
And then now you don't get that luck. And people telling you that you're overqualified, that's nothing new, actually, because all he wanted to do was work.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's a very saddening story. Okay, let's go on to Orlando Pirates. How did it go about? No, let's first start Bloemfontein Celtics, because we haven't started. So you go to Bloemfontein Celtics, and now you start playing, and now, hey, you start grabbing a lot of people's attention. How was it like at Bloemfontein, living at Bloemfontein now, and how did you start getting there, Uglana Spandiel and all of those guys, and now moving to play Ilontus, and now going to be a sort of figurehead for Bloemfontein Celtics?
Yeah, it was a beautiful journey, you know. It's a team that gave me my first contract and my first break, and it's like, oh, you know, I've made a lot of memories, and also, you know, Uksaina Nabo was, you know, something that I didn't expect in that moment, and going to training to see play Taibos, Soulmate, Lakim Zizi, Ndabozus Kakane, Lebuhangu Kame. You know, the list is long. Keriko Stone, Timothy Batabaire, John. These are people that I watch on TV, and today I'm training with them. They're giving me advice. They are my teammate. We have a laugh. You know, it was a beautiful thing to have, you know, and a beautiful feeling to have. And it's a feeling that I will always cherish for the rest of my life, because I felt so good when I was there, and I was loved and by the people of Bloemfontein, the supporters, the management of the club, the players that I played with. They are the ones that also helped me to become what I am and to also succeed while I was there in Bloemfontein. So, it was honestly a beautiful journey, and a team that, did a lot for me, and a team that I owe a lot, for, what I mean. And of course, moving to Orlando Pirates, a bigger scale now, a bigger team. Moving to Johannesburg, a bigger city. It was also nice, to have. And also now the nice thing is that already Orlando Pirates, I already had a name, so the supporters were excited, everyone was excited for me. This was Lala, or the part of the Orlando Pirates, and everyone is expecting the same performance that I had at Bloemfontein Celtics, so it was also exciting to see and exciting to feel the love that I got also from the Orlando Pirates supporters, because Nabo, they loved me, and they were always there for me, even and even when it was bad, so it was also a beautiful journey that I learned a lot from. It's a journey that I had to go through, and I also cherish that moment, and also winning those trophies, 6 trophies with Orlando Pirates, double treble. It was very nice. I played with beautiful players that were talented, Annie Lechani, Teko Mutis, Katlaha Mashiro. I think it's every player's dream to have such an environment, around you, and you have such great players around you, and the players that you learn from, and also that also helps you grow now as a player, and also helps you grow as a person as well. So I had a time of my life also at Orlando Pirates. It was very nice, even though that I didn't play much, but I cherish everything that I achieved, and every moment that I had with the club. I met a lot of good people also, Coach Debs, people that always wanted me to grow. It was very nice. People that I still, when I have a chat now, they still hold me with high regard. So it was good. It's football. It sends abantu, man. Iyasgeza. It makes us and abantu bayasithanda, because people love football and people love their clubs as well. So, football has done a lot for me now, taking me from Kailicha to the world, to a team like Orlando Pirates, Bloemfontein Celtics, SuperSport United. It's been beautiful, honestly. The problem, sometimes when we're facing our troubles and when we're facing challenges, we get blinded by that, and you don't see the most beautiful things about football or about life, but with all the challenges and the adversities that maybe one had to go through, and it's something that sometimes you have to go through now as a human being as well, so I had the time of my life.
Yeah, and speaking about Oli, when you went to Pirates, you were on the bench. Speaking to Riyad Peter says, I was also talking to him about he always moves to big teams. We were speaking about he's always played for big teams, and he's never had playing time. He's always been on the bench. And how was it? The first treble you won with Urut Krol, and then the second one with Augusto Palacios. How was the difference in the management styles? The management styles, what was the difference, and basically just that.
I think with Rudy Krol is that he had already built the club, for 3 years, because when I got there, it was his 3rd season. And most of the players that were there were players that have been with the club for 3-4 years now. So he had already had a nice foundation of the club, you know what I mean? And he just needed maybe a few signings that can just take the club to the next step. And I think the club made a few good signings in that season. Robin Johannes, myself, and we managed to take the club to the next step and to the next level. And it was really, really great, you know what I mean? And also, even with the next season, I believe we were just riding from the success of the previous season and the foundations that were built by Urudi Kro, because after that second season, the third season, we didn't win a cup, fourth season, and then it took time for Orlando Pirates also to win a cup. So I think if Mayambela Crawl had continued, it would have been a similar situation with what Coach Peter Musimani did for Marelo Sundowns, continuity. But it showed with him. He was supposed to continue with the club, but also Coach Palacios did a great job. Also, he managed the club well, he managed the players well. Now because there are players Louis Boamote, now the club started to attract big name players also. So it was also great to have such players in the club, and they also helped the club to succeed and the club to win. So it was also great to have and to learn under such great people and such great coaches as well. It's things that also now stayed on your mind. It's also things that also now you share with other people and you try to help other people with. So yeah, it was great.
And you speak about ukudlala nabobheni, abantu abafana nabobheni. How was that? And you had troubles in one of your articles where there are a few articles written about you where you say players get attracted to a flashy lifestyle, and you say you were not you're also a part of that. Playing for a big team now, you have to buy fancy cars. You have to live in a certain area, obviously, because you're playing for a big team, and you have to buy certain clothes. And how did that go? How did you? How did you go about changing that? What made you make that change from living that flashy lifestyle, and what are the problems that came with that flashy lifestyle?
Of course, when you play for a big team like Orlando Pirates, you get exposed to a lot of maybe high life, because now there's Abandu that loves Orlando Pirates that are in big positions, and so now you have to also maintain a certain level of life, or you must acquire a certain level of life, because now abantu they see you now as umuntu omkhulu when you go to buy groceries, and manje everyone sees you. Hey, here's my manje. I was saying 1 kg, so saying 2 kg. You know what I mean? So it's the pressure. It's the pressure that comes with being in that environment. And it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. And it's not an easy thing to do or to have when you move from being no one to being someone where everyone recognizes you, that you play for Orlando Pirates, and the expectations that people have, they think, hey, cool, you know what I mean? Man, you have to drive a certain car, and man, as you said, you have to stay in a certain environment or suburban. So, it's pressures that comes with playing for such big teams. I'm sure it's the same with other big teams like Chiefs and Pirates and other clubs. I have friends that have played in those clubs, and I think we have the same struggle. So it's not easy to maintain, and it's not easy to adjust. It takes time, and I think once you adjust, and then things start to happen a little bit better for you. But these are things that you get exposed with. Sometimes when you go to maybe a nightclub, you don't even pay at the door. But hey, how many of you? Yes, 10. Okay, come here. So man, you get access to a lot of things, and women, they start to notice. But hey, man, the man TV one day. So you easy to get a little bit easier now. And abanye abantu cannot manage those situations, and that's why you find maybe most careers go down the drain, and it's not an easy thing to manage, it's not an easy thing to do, coming from the township, next, and then to the big stage of South African football, where you eat pasta easily, so you know what I mean. So the transition between the two lives is very, very critical. I think in football we need people that are helping players to adjust in that. It's not an easy thing to adjust. It's also the same thing when you move from a Orlando Pirates environment to a smaller club, that transition is also important. So we need people that can help players to adjust in those transitions, both going up and both going down. So it's not easy. It's not easy to adjust, but once you adjust, and then I think you get to enjoy the life.
And Njobo, whilst you're speaking, what the other time I was speaking with Ethan Brooks, and what he said is now that because I really like asking players, Guti, any player, even asked Monde Zondeki the other time, Uba, how do you have any financial planning? Do you have any financial advisors about to help you plan out your finances for even, let's say, after football? Or do you have a career that you've kind of started, or even businesses that you started, so that after football you have something to do, or something that can actually help you and sustain you?
Well, I understand that argument. I think also some of the salaries that are being exaggerated, that footballers earn. Not every player earns 50,000 or 100,000 or 200,000. There are players that are earning 10,000 and 15,000 or even less. And coming from not having anything, you have to ukala and wakikaya and do this and do that and do this for your family and take care of your family and take care of your households and also your own household. It's not an easy thing to do and to maintain. And to be honest with you, it's not even easy to save money when you're in that state. Only when you have grown, maybe so you have played football, man, so you are 20, 28, 29, 30 in that region. That's when maybe you start to earn better money, you know what I mean? And you start to maybe maybe a club, you know what I mean? So that's when maybe you start to have maybe some sort of a leverage, But of course, you can save, you can have a money that can help you. But for me personally, it was difficult to. I cannot save money when my family doesn't have food, And manje, I have to take care of my own household. I have to take care of my mom's households. I have to take care of my dad's household. So you have this salary of 20,000 or whatever thousands, and you have to run 3 households. It's not easy. You have to pay bond for yourself. You have to pay for the car. You have to pay insurance. You have to pay this. You pay that. You know what I mean? So it's not easy, to be honest, to manage all of this, especially when you come from a disadvantaged community or a family. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, for other players, they manage. But for me, not to save in those days was never like an option, to be honest with you, because really the responsibility never gave me a chance to do so, And you have to take your kids to school, your family to school. You have to pay school fees for your brothers and your sisters, So it's very difficult for us, especially when you are the only one who is a breadwinner at home. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. I'm not saying that it's not doable, but you must also look at the challenges that the footballers go through, the kind of responsibility that a footballer has to go through. Some footballers come from shacks. He needs to build a house first. He needs to buy a house first. He also needs to buy a house for himself. You know what I mean? He needs to buy a car because he has to go to training. He cannot be taking taxis. It's not safe for them. So it's a challenge and it's a struggle. You know what I mean? And I think what makes it worse is the fact that players' salaries are exaggerated. That's the worst thing. Because I've been to clubs whereby players are earning peanuts, and then people expect them to live a certain life or to have certain things. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. It's not easy. So we need a lot of psychologists and sports psychologists and financial planners and advisors to come into football and to help to plan footballers' lives. But I'm telling you, it's not an easy thing to do or to achieve also.
Yeah, and whilst you're speaking about that, it also you show us, and I'm happy that I'm speaking to you because you showing aside, you even going deeper and showing certain things that, let's say, a person from the outside won't see. Let's say you have to take care of your family. Some people will call it black tax, but for you, it's I grew up with, most likely, I don't know what you think, but from just my viewpoint, it might be I have to school sonke besokola sonke. Now I have a bit. I can't let you guys struggle when
For sure.
you're sharp.
I have a problem. I have a problem with this black text thing that people are portraying, and especially black text doesn't involve your family, in my opinion. You know, for every household, Unkulunkulu said gives one an opportunity to change the family's well-being. You know, and if it's me in this moment, I have to maximize that. I cannot now, since I'm playing for Orlando Pirates, I don't take care of my family. I don't take care of my uncles and my siblings and my cousins. You know what I mean? Because I see myself I'm in a better position, you know? So for me now, black text doesn't involve family. That's my opinion. You know, family is family. Family is not someone that is struggling that will ask you for imali beer or imali cigarettes. That's two different things. You know what I mean? So for me now, I took it upon my as a responsibility to say, whatever that I have, I will share with my family, and I will try by all means to make it a better life for them, because I know what it feels to not to have and not to have food and not to have this and that. So much that I am in a better position. I cannot just leave them in that mess as well. I need to make an effort to help them and to try and find solutions to help them. You know what I mean? If I have to maybe pay the school fees, Sabandwana, or my aunt's child or whoever, you know what I mean? I need to do that. I feel it's my responsibility to do so, you know, and to help my family, you know. So that's for me. This black texting, for us as black people, it shouldn't apply to our families. Our families are our families. You know, these are the people that you get our blessings from. You know, if you're talking about Umunase strategy and just an ordinary person from the street, and then I'll understand about Ilende black text. But for family, for me now, I family doesn't. I savings the black text. It's family. If I need to help, I help.
And you're speaking about something else where you say your family also utolama blessings with, and a lot of people, when you're down and out or when you are struggling, some of those people that say you should be, let's say, I'm not, it's a conversation. It's me seeing both sides. Some people say you're now being irresponsible, or you're taking too much of a burden. But if you're struggling, a lot of the times, if not every time, only family will help you out if you're struggling.
For sure.
It won't be someone from Ongapandelo. A lot of those people, especially with a lot of the stories that we've had, let's say now because you're a soccer player, you start having a bit of money, then now you start having a lot of people, a lot of hanger oners, a lot of people that are just around you in jail, and then and then as soon as the money leaves, now where they go.
You cannot see family as bundle. I don't see my family as that, you know. We're not perfect. I am not perfect, but I don't see family as umthwalo. If I can help, I help. I'm not saying that I'm gonna to help, but when I have, or it doesn't have to be money, it can be anything else, you know what I mean? I'm always there for my family, you know, because I feel guilty. I was chosen to make a difference for my family. You know what I mean? Someone else will be chosen to make a difference in his own family. You know what I mean? So, and before you can start to have friends and this and that, you have to start from home. That's why they say charity begins at home. You know, so if you start at home, these are the people that will bless you. These are the people that, when things are not going well out there in the streets, when you come back home, you come back still in the same environment that you left, you know, in a good environment. You know what I mean? So it's important that we take care of our families. That's how I see it. You know, I don't know what other people think, you know, but these are primary people that we first need to take care of. to make sure that these people are well taken care of. They are in a better environment. You are the one now who's been chosen to take care of these people, and then you have to do it. Don't mind it, because you're so Jersey or in wherever, so when I got with and all of that, now you start chasing these girls, But at the end of the day, when you don't have money, the same girls will leave you. The same guys that you think are your friends will leave you, and you will be left with the same people that you neglected. So it's important that we take care of these people, because these are the people that when they say something upon your life, it happens. If they curse you, you'll be cursed. And if they bless you, you'll be blessed. So it's important that you think about that. Our blessings don't lie upon us. Our blessings to lie upon other people. When you treat people rightly, when you are being a good person and people loves you and people talk good things about you, people bless you with words, bless you with action. Even now in your life, you will be blessed. You won't get blessings here from something that you don't even know where it comes from.
It's a lot of you've been preaching, Grootman. I've just been listening. So yeah, I know. No, it's actually it's helpful for not just only me. It's also helpful for whoever will be watching this interview, so that they can also, it won't just be only for me. It's for a lot of people, so that they can learn if they're in the same situation for certain things. Because Njobu Kuluma, a player needs to have a car. You can't just not have a car as a player, because sometimes you guys go to gym early and then you come back early as well. You guys might have 2 hours and 3 hours. And when you said a certain person will play for a certain team and then they'll not have enough money. Remember Bruce Vuma, when he first went to Kaizer Chiefs, it was reported that he was earning about 1,000 rand. Whilst he was playing for Chiefs, after he had made his debut, he was still earning 1,000 and was on a professional contract.
I don't know. I cannot.
No, I'm saying it was reported.
I cannot comment.
Oh, okay. That's fine. And okay, so you're at Orlando Pirates, right? That lifestyle. And then, so what makes you change that lifestyle? What makes you say, no, this flashy lifestyle, this is not for me. I have to kind of downsize or live a life that I can afford, that a life that's for me. So when does that decision happen?
It takes time. It takes time. It took time for me, because also after I left Orlando Pirates, and I still maintain, only when I got to SuperSport United that, I also, manje, I have a car, I have a son, I can see now this boy. I cannot create a life for this boy that I grew up in. You know what I mean? So manje, the way of thinking changes. I have another responsibility that I need to take care of firsthand. I'm the first person that needs to take care of this person before someone else can, and mind you, now it forces me to change how I live. It forces me now to change what I buy with my money. It forces me to change what I do with my money and how I live. And because also I need to set an example to this boy to say, if I want this boy to be a good person, I also need to be a good person so that he can take that from. You know what I mean? I cannot be preaching to this boy that, hey, don't drink alcohol, don't do this, don't smoke. I mean, I'm pretty cigarette and I'm holding a beer on my hand, So manje, my teachings also are not only verbally, manje, also with my actions, and now how I live, how I do things, how I say, and what I say to him are things that also now are building him to become a better person. And mind you, he's fortunate enough to have a base in life more than me. Now, when I was younger, I had to start from like the very, 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 very scratch from dust and tins and fumane, cream. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm just from a cream. And I also now need to maintain this cream that I know, so that within the years, there will be nothing that will disrupt what or disrupt upbringing and development yet. You know what I mean? So it was important for me to change, and it eventually, and gradually it happened in I'm the person that I am today. And also thanks to God that I had the strength, and I gave me a strength to away from that life and away from those moments, you know what I mean? And manje, it's a better environment. It's a better environment for myself, for my family, and for them as well, my kids as well. So it's a great environment for one and I to grow up in. You know, manje, because Tina, when you grow up, you will find how, you know, my uncle is fighting with my mom. And yes, this and that. And manje, it's a more calm and violence-free and easy environment for them. So, you know, it's also important to create that for our kids. And manje, they need to go to school, so you need to create an environment for them and to take them to an environment that will be good for them, and because what's important is that it's not only about what they learn in terms of phone and academically, but how they behave, how what they say, you know what I mean, how they act, how they conduct themselves. So it's also important that you're teaching the person, you know what I mean. So and you're grooming the person to become a better person and a good person. So it's important for me now. Also, it's a big part of your life that to groom a good person than a doctor. You know, I don't want my son to be a doctor or a lawyer, but a bad lawyer. That is not a good human being. I want a lawyer that is a good human being. If he becomes a footballer, I want a footballer that will be a good human being. If he's a doctor, he will be a doctor that is a good human being. If he's a good human being, and then my job is done, whatever that he does after, if he goes acting or whatever line of career he takes, and then that's up to him. But as long that me and Kulise a good human being, and then I will be done.
Yeah. And so you go, how do you, in one of the articles that I read, because I do my research, guys, I have to, because I asked you guys for your time, and I also have to come prepared. It wouldn't be fair for me to come ill-prepared for an interview whilst I asked you for your time. So in one of your articles, now that you mentioned God and your family, it says your mother has always been a churchgoer, and you didn't like that life, and then now you are like and then when your life started changing once you started going to church. How did she what was going on for you at that time in your life, and for you to finally listen to your mother? Because from one of those articles, it says that she has been asking you to actually go to church for a very long time.
Of course, I think it also, from what we are just saying now regarding to my son, I think every parent wants their son or their children to become better human beings and to become better people. So she also wanted me to become a better person. Not that I didn't like going to church, but I didn't have time in that time, you know, because Sunday, mele, you know what I mean? So, so I didn't see the need for church, you know, and I think also everything in life has its own stages. You know, sometimes people go through certain things, not because maybe they are cursed or anything like that, but Ngulungulu is trying to teach them a lesson that will also help them to become better people. So I believe that what I had to go through, it's something that I had to go through so that I can learn, and also I can become a better person, and I can also prepare the next person to become a better person a little bit quicker than I did. Yeah, he's a learning choice. So it was that kind of a moment. So, and it happened, and here I am today.
Yeah, because they say a wise person learns from other people's mistakes.
For 100%. And it's something that I always tell the younger players that, you know, learn from us. Instead of waiting until you are 29 at 30, be good. Go manje, una 25 and 24, 23. The moment you also una 30, you will be in a higher position in life.
Okay, so yeah, so how does the transition from Orlando Pirates to Mpumalanga Black Aces? Because if I'm not mistaken, at that time Mpumalanga Black Aces, David Matebula had left and Chiefs at that time, if I'm not mistaken. Or am I wrong?
I'm not sure, but he was not there when I was there.
Oh, that was before. Okay. But it was a newly promoted team. How was it playing for them now that you had tasted what comes with playing for a big team? Oh, what playing for a big team and finally Abafazi. And how did you deal with women, especially in that stage in your life? How was it like dealing with women at that stage? Because you had an abundance, you had a choice, you could choose because you were playing for the biggest team. And how did you deal with that? And yeah.
Mpumalanga is at least they had decent players. You know, I think Mshishi was there, Dennis Masina, Abiana Ali was there.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a fairly good team that could, that did well also that season. So it was not really hard to adapt in terms of football. But of course, moving from Orlando Pirates to a smaller club, newly promoted, obviously there will always be hiccups in between. And so also dealing with women, it's not easy dealing with these people, but when you find, the nice thing is that when I was at Orlando Pirates, I was dating. So she kept me good, she kept me grounded. She's a good person. So I had to focus on that, so I didn't do easily as better outside that in terms of women, but with going out and all of that, I did, and sometimes I did it with her. So yeah.
It's very understandable, at least that she kept you a bit grounded so you can focus on, because hey, we get a lot of people, or you hear a lot of stories that he started getting these women, started getting a lot of women, and now he couldn't sometimes people don't know how to act once they get certain things.
For sure.
And okay, so now you're moving to Black Aces, and then after Black Aces, it says you go through a lot of times where you are without a club. I don't know why that happens. There's a whenever I saw, and then you are without a club. How does that does that period treat you when you are without a club?
It's not easy. Ukhlala without a club and not earning, but it teaches you a lot of things, and also teaches you to sometimes when you go through certain stuff in certain clubs and you feel like I feel like I'm at the club there because I'm not treated the way you do. And then when you're outside that club and then you get to feel which as in we need to appreciate these moments, even if it's hard, but you need to appreciate these moments. And in between my time where I didn't have clubs, I got to appreciate being in a club and being in football, training, having teammates, having a laugh, doing this, doing that, having fun and training. So you get to appreciate, football, and I did appreciate football when I got an opportunity.
Yeah, and they say, what's this? You don't know what you have until it's gone. So
something like that.
Yeah, and then so now you're without a club, and then you go to Sweden. How does the move to Sweden come about? I can't pronounce
it. Came through Anela Ngonga's older brother, Raymond. He had a relationship with the club. So he recommended me. They saw my videos. They liked them. They invited me for training. And then I went there. I went to Sweden. I trained with the club. And then we went to Spain for preseason, and I signed when I was in Spain. So it came like that. And also a very, very nice club, very nice people, beautiful city. I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot. It was also a transition with the person that I am. I also developed as a footballer. I developed as a human being. It was also part of a journey. Maybe one day I'll write about. And it was also, beautiful to be in Sweden and to learn, and also to be appreciated by the Swedish people and the club, and the supporters of the club. So it was really, really good to be there.
So okay, now the question that I want to ask about Sweden. How was the change in moving abroad? How did it go about that change in you from moving here to Sweden? What are the cultural differences? And did they pay for your flight to go there, or you took your own money, you paid for your flight and you stayed there? You were paying for your stay whilst you were there, or did the club?
No, they paid for everything. They paid for the flights, the hotel, and they paid. And also, it's normal that when you move to Africa, to Europe, there's a huge change of culture, change of the way of doing, the language, and the people around you. They can immediately see, this guy is not from here, because, so there was a big change. But the nice thing is that those people are welcoming and they are friendly, and also the nice thing is that they can speak English, so I didn't struggle a lot with language. There were some moments whereby you're dealing with someone that cannot speak English as well, so now you have to explain. When you want to explain, if there's something that you're looking for, you need to use your hands and all of that, and maybe try to get someone else to translate for you. So it was only those minor moments, but it was everything that there was. The transition, of course, it's normal. But it was good.
So how was the footballing aspect of Swedish football? I know, especially now they just went out last night, but they are a very organized team, like two talented players. But was it like that? Was it the same structure, or kind of like the same thing? They'd have one or two skillful players, i.e. yourself, and let's say someone else, someone that could make a difference, and then everyone else knew their jobs, they knew what they had to do.
I think I was telling someone Izolo that they have grown and they have improved as a country. I think also when I was there, they still had a lot of the old school generation of coaches, and I spoke to one of the guys at the club, I think last year, and he told me that now in Sweden, things have changed. They have now the new generation of coaches, younger coaches with new modern ideas and all of that. So you can also see with how the national team is playing now, how they move the ball around, how the player moves. And they have a lot of players that are playing outside the country as well, which is important. They have a lot of players that plays in big leagues as well. So it's also important. Yes, so it's also important for their growth. And for me, when I watch the game, I saw a lot of improvement. It's no longer the Sweden that we thought he would play that long direct football, playing on offensive transition all the time. But now you can see they move about, they keep the ball well, they move the ball around well, and they have improved from what I've assessed.
So, seeing that they've improved, do you think that we also kind of have to take a leaf out of their book for South African football, just for it to change a bit, so that we can also get into the new school as well?
For sure. Football is always evolving. So it's important also us we evolve with the times, and also to invest in football and invest in the personnel that is responsible for the country's growth as well, and if we want our country to grow and to be on that same level, we need people that will go and do researches and how these people are doing that and what kind of methods are they using to evolve football, so that we can come back, or they can come back and help the country as well. So it's also important for the country's growth. Those are the people that are always evolving. So we need to set a team that will go and do a case study on how Europeans are developing from club level to national team, to junior national team, to development, and then the same people that will come and present to us, so that we can take that direction as well. Because these people take football serious. The kind of money that they pump into football is it's money that companies in South Africa do, so for us to also take ourselves seriously, we need for us to take football serious and to take football to the next step in South Africa, we need to take ourselves serious and to follow these trends.
And Iceland, remember Iceland when they went to what's this? 2016 Euros, when they went out of when they left the group, when they went out of the group and carried on, I think it was into the quarterfinals or the last 16. For every 250 players, they had a UEFA coach with they had a person with a UEFA coaching badge certificate for every 250 people. That's an amazing stat. Hopefully in South Africa we can imitate that. And in China they sent out people, like 10,000 people, made them study let's say finance or whatever they wanted. They came back, they brought back the knowledge to the people and started plowing back into the nation. So
it's important that we also follow the same trends. And you find in South Africa a lot of coaches don't have coaching licenses, don't have coaching badges. So it's important that, I know Ajax Amsterdam does it a lot of in a lot of countries. They do it in China, where they set up a club, they set up the structures, they set up everything, and then they help the club set up their structures of the club. So it's something that we need to do also, as you just mentioned, that China is sending out people. We need to send people out to come and study. People in medicine, people in physiotherapy, people in machine, people that are video analysts, people that are, there's a lot of opportunities in football now. Scouts, there's a lot of jobs. It's no longer the same as before. Sports psychologists, they must come with the knowledge. They must come with the knowledge to share with the people, to share with the nation, to share with the federations and the PSL and SAFA and all of them, so that people can grow. We need coaches that are educating themselves so that they can come and educate us, and educate the players as well, so that we can build a better nation, a better football nation as well. So it's important that we do that.
And who's this? I forgot what I wanted to say. Or the Springboks in 2007. They hired a sports psychologist, and then they went on and they won the World Cup.
Yeah. It's important.
If my memory serves me correctly, that's what they did to win something. And then now you come back and then you play for the Royal Eagles. How does that? Why do you leave Sweden and why come back and then play for Royal Eagles? Hola. Okay, so Mark has left us. So yeah, I think his battery is very, very low. Okay, from what I see from the chats, it says his battery is very low. So yeah, guys, that has been. I think this might be part one, but yeah, guys, thank you guys for joining me on Sports Talk with Kefuwe, and I'm your host Kefuwe Njabulo Mahlangu. Hope you guys have gotten a bit of knowledge. Guys, I've given you, like, the man was dropping gems. We couldn't finish thus far, but the gems, a lot of knowledge. So anyway, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, obviously. And yeah, man, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, let's grow the channel. Let's grow the community, man. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe on the video, and comment down below. And this has been Sports Talk with Kefuwe, and I'm your host, Kefuwe Njabulo Mahlangu. I'm out. This is part one, I think. This will be part one. Sharp. Oh, let me